turn the volume off there. We might have a little echo. So it wasn't the Xbox, it was the stream. So here we are. As I said before, a lot of shit happened today.
Doom Nation.
If you didn't think we were going to talk about it, you were wrong.
I mean, just in the hour it took me to get up here, my phone blew up. I'm not even caught up on what took place in the last hour, so you could cover that. But Doom Nation, welcome back. We're live. Hey, we got who's watching us? Oh, Amy. Hey, Amy. And well, tonight we're going to talk about what transpired today. And yeah, just make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's just dive right in because this has been a whirlwind of a day.
Yeah, we were going to talk tonight anyway on like a regular episode that we record and post later. But because of what happened at the Capitol, I felt it was probably more, I don't know, appropriate to talk live because a lot of people, this was crazy. It was like definitely a historic day. I don't know, maybe my opinion, not in a good sense. It was just a historical day.
And it's also my mom's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday. Where do you want to start? I mean, there's so much shit to talk about. I'm just putting Fox News back on here so I can
fill me in on what happened in the last hour.
The last hour, not much happened. I mean, most people have gone home at the Capitol building. The National Guard did eventually come in. I was watching them, make those chains and remove people from the area. Apparently, Congress is going to get back together with Mike Pence, and they're going to continue the certification tonight. Before they were saying no.
Okay.
But they are going to get back together. And I was thinking in my head before, they were talking about not getting back together. Come on. Man the fuck up and get back together. I know this is a crazy day, but...
Yeah, I'm surprised they're doing it tonight. I thought they would have, adjourned to tomorrow or whatever. But maybe now people won't object to it. They'll be like, no, fuck it, like, get them out.
Yeah.
It could change people's opinions as well. Or it could flip people's opinions the other way. Like, people really think it's this fraudulent that the election was so filled with fraud that, like, they would storm the Capitol. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's why people stormed the Capitol.
No, I understand, but maybe now, like, some people who weren't going to oppose actually do oppose. Like, because they see, like, the people feel like that there's I
think it's going to be the opposite. I think today the actions people took today are going to, change. I mean, we'll see.
It's going to be demonized. As long as this media is still operating, this will be, like, they'll probably hail this worse than, like, some of the some bombings and shit. Like, this
was pretty bad. I'm not gonna. If you think I'm gonna defend what happened today, you do whatever you want because I know you.
This was an exciting day.
Yeah, I mean, someone died. Someone died, and a Trump supporter died. So let's keep that in mind. Although you know what, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. How many times did Trump supporters say that when Black Lives Matter people were getting run over and Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people, etc. So you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So I feel bad for that person, but. Don't storm the Capitol.
You're in the mix of it. I mean, look, they're fist fighting police officers right now. Like I'm for the boys in blue, we've had the cop cast and stuff. We support the blue and all that. But like, if you're in a situation like that where you're fist fighting a cop, like you're gonna get shot eventually. Somebody is like, you're playing the stupid game. Like, I don't taking it as far as they did. No, but like. Showing like we're not going to take this anymore. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think what's getting lost in this is the fact that people are angry, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a Trump supporter or like a Black Lives Matter supporter. They're angry for similar reasons, although they see themselves as being on opposite sides, right? There's definitely the underlying factor of the pandemic and economic stress and being locked down and things that are pissing people off, keeping society under pressure.
I said this in a previous episode, closer to like the election, probably right after, where I said this is all just leading to another powder keg moment because the election was fucky. Everybody questioned that. Then right away, the second wave hit, and the numbers and the sicknesses skyrocketed and things tightened up on small business. And I said it's just building back up to another riotary moment. And here you go today.
Riotary, did you make that word up?
Yeah, I did. You know what I mean? But like the powder keg built and built. People have just been shoved and shoved and shoved. And now it's the other side of the fence that snapped this time.
Right. That's a great way to put it.
And even though like, fine, we're going to split it up with like BLM and Antifa and then like what happened today, like it's different sides of the fence. doesn't mean that like it was never impossible that it wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, we've been saying something like this was going to happen
yeah.
for months.
But I'm just saying, just because it's on the opposite side, like I'm not that surprised. You could only push
People,
a group of
you're
people
right.
so far before they push back.
Exactly. You could say in this scenario, Trump supporters, I'm laying the blame on them. This was them that did it. I know you're going to point to some
I don't really
photos
care.
of Antifa
Look,
people or something.
There
but
is photos of people from Antifa that were there. It wouldn't be too hard for them to go undercover. But I don't care if they were doing it side by side. Like the message was sent today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Antifa sent the message, then the Antifa sent the message. Like,
that's like all that is to me is some of our friends were sending us pictures of Antifa people that were in other photos. First of all, how do I know those photos are real? Second of all, even if they were there, me as a Trump supporter, I could choose to just turn around and walk away.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? And I get mob mentality takes
no,
over and people want to smash shit, but you have your
agree with
own
that.
individual like
I agree.
mindset.
Yeah. The people who chose to do this chose to do this at the end of the day. Just like in any of the other protests, when you started robbing Target and burning down Wendy's and stuff, you chose to participate.
You chose to do that, right?
You chose to part, and you know what I mean. Like I get it. It's a pretty crazy scene. They're scaling.
There was some pictures and scenes today that are going to be in history books in the future of people literally scaling the walls of the Capitol building. There was a scene of they put a cabinet in front of the door of the Senate chambers, guns drawn.
The one that was crazy that I like, you could put this in like a horror movie. Like the door starts shaking, and then you just see a fist go on, and then you see the window crack and crack. And
yeah,
crack.
it was like a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway I took from this whole thing today is how just unbelievably unprepared the Capitol building itself is to defend itself from a major attack like this. This was an attack. I mean, it was dudes with flags and their fists and whatnot, but it was an attack. How the fuck?
They were greatly outnumbered.
I get it, but how is there not some switch the Capitol building doesn't push in the defense room that like all the windows, steel comes down and the doors become barricaded and there's a security force nearby.
Maybe they don't. Imagine if they really just don't have that. Like they just
I guess they
never expected.
I guess they don't.
See,
that's like stupidity, unpreparedness.
I put it this way. So we've always been in agreement that there's corrupt members in Congress and politics and stuff like that. And there is 100, and I'm not even going to name names. They're on both sides of the fence. There's 100% people in Congress who have committed horrendous acts of violence, and they've been above the law for so many years, is what I'm trying to say. These people's guards are so down because they're so untouchable, they never imagined that this would happen.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or, flip side, we'll get a little conspiracy with it. What if they didn't defend it so this could happen? What if they made it easy so this could take off?
There's some legit criticisms that I can make of the Capitol Police. I did see a video. I was going back and forth with somebody on Facebook, and they were trying to make the point that if this was a Black Lives Matter protest...
Oh, wait, hold on. We got a bunch of...
Go ahead. You got anything?
Hey, Sammy.
Anybody?
Mom's on. Good evening, Patty.
Anyway, I wanted to make the point that a lot of people are making the point that if this was a Black Lives Matter protest, the response and the preparedness would have been way more, as we've seen in the past. I feel like that's half true, half playing the race card always.
There's actually a picture that's floating around online. In June, on the steps of the Capitol, they had National Guards like 20 deep on each fucking row.
I saw that.
So like the protesters couldn't get to Congress. Today they had
my look at that is they were expecting a riot, unrest to happen. That's why they had that response.
Yeah.
For this, they were kind of caught off guard because this is the first time I feel, you could correct me if I'm wrong, that a Trump rally went absolutely haywire like this, and people, I mean?
I think if one did go awry before this, we would have heard about it.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like the race card here doesn't that's 100% apply because they weren't expecting something like this to happen. My criticism is they should have expected this to happen, right? Yeah. What did you think was going to happen when you have 100,000 angry people next door and this guy is riling them the fuck up all morning? And he was late on top of that, so they're probably mad about that too. I told you, Trump said he was like an hour late, so I'd have been mad just from that to begin with. You know, that is what happens when people are
Listen.
already pissed. People that were mad,
Yeah.
already come
Standing
and get
in the
even more
freezing
mad.
cold.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of fuckery taking place in Washington.
See this.
Yeah.
If you go look on Fox News, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if you go look on Fox News right now there's a million police officers, National Guards in front of the Capitol building.
They sent in. Trump actually sent in the National Guard. The FBI showed up. They got a bunch of state troopers from Virginia and Maryland to come in. So they're armed to the teeth now. Yeah.
Right. My criticism that it took too long to do this, which is dumb, and the fact that I get it takes a long time to mobilize a lot of people. But this is not Seattle. This is the Capitol building of the United States of America.
It was taken care of in like 2 hours, dude, where Seattle had its
spend
own
every year
insurgency.
$700 billion plus on the military. Yet where is our money going? Shouldn't the military have some sort of capability to defend the Capitol on a drop of a dime, moment's notice?
Example to find
but
out
they
where
couldn't
that
do it.
money's going. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense.
Originally, the Department of Justice or Department of Defense denied Washington the National Guard.
Right. Originally, there was a whole there was a debate. There was a debate.
There's people running through the hall. There's people in Nancy Pelosi's office, and they're like, "No, you don't need the National Guard."
To be clear, what he's talking about.
Was all decided. Like,
to be clear, what he's talking about is I was watching this earlier when there was like the negotiations, I guess, because this is somehow a negotiation of if we're going to use the National Guard. There was the Department of Defense didn't want to use the National Guard because they didn't want the image of uniformed soldiers removing protesters, American protesters, off the streets. All right, but then if you want to play into the BLM angle, they did that when that was going on. That was okay. So I mean, what are we fucking talking about here? This is literally the Capitol building, like you said, of the country, and the military is not going to come and defend it. What? I mean, it is from Americans. I get it.
It is,
and I get the
house.
people's frustration. And I did see there was a guy on Fox News, this was crazy. I mean, they asked him, what did you think about the people that are in the building right now, causing violence and trespassing? And the guy goes, this is the people's building. It's not the government's building.
Yeah. Nobody broke into anything, technically.
Technically, he's right. But at the same time, even these scumbags in Congress are still American people.
They're leaders. I mean, they have to be protected. Yeah.
Right. We become, we can't accept violence in the streets or at every corner all the time.
After everybody going back on the stimulus bill, this is long overdue.
Yeah, I know, I understand. And we did accept violence, right? Yeah. Democrats accepted the violence of the summertime. And it wasn't until recently the mayor of Seattle acknowledged that, you know what, I tried in good faith to try and, negotiate, talk with Antifa and etc. And he realized he was wrong. It applies to everyone, anyone who's trying to cause violence. You can't, that's like the fabric of our society falls apart. If you
once it becomes the Wild West.
Right, exactly. Then you know what? And if we have no guns, because that's the next thing on their agenda to do is take away. How is a person?
No shootings
how is a normal person that is not as crazy about this shit like me and him defend ourselves from these fucking lunatics?
Yeah.
If a BLM or a crazy Trump roving band of fucking wild men came to our house and tried to break our shit,
businesses and they've broken into the Capitol now. I mean, there's nothing safe. There's nothing safe.
No, not even the government is safe. They can't. The people who want to take your guns away because they say they can protect you, they can't even protect themselves.
Yeah.
What? I mean, what?
We need state militias again. I'm sorry. We need well-regulated.
You just need to protect yourself. That's it. And that's all I can say about that.
But that was like watching a movie. I'm starting to think like we have to be watching some type of movie because now that we're sitting here talking about it and like it's worn off and like we've seen it earlier in the day, like. Like when something's like too easy, it's a trap. You know what I mean? Like they almost got in there too easily.
I agree. Well, I was going to say that I did see at least one video of police removing a barricade and letting people through. That was suspicious, right? Why did that happen? Why?
Oh, hey, Zach's on. What's up on Fit Statesman? Check him out on YouTube.
There's
iHeartRadio.
There's blame to go around everywhere, and there is some suspicious shit. I'm not gonna say there's not, but at the same time, I feel like people were fucking pissed, and they just wanted to go break something.
Though, like in the riots, remember when they were trying to break into the town hall in Seattle or the city hall in Seattle, or whatever?
The court building.
They sat there for like 4 days and could not get in. We got in like 25 minutes.
The Capitol building of the United States of America. It's weird.
Now that like it's kind of like worn off, it's almost suspicious.
This is where you put on your tinfoil hat.
I'm sorry, like trust me, it could go either way, but it is a little suspicious because, like, either are we really just that unprepared and the Capitol building doesn't have a fucking defense button where everything. If China landed and
Yeah,
fucking
that's the way I'm looking at it. Also,
tanks were rolling up and helicopters and planes, they can't just go like that to the Capitol and
lock it down for like a prolonged siege.
Bomb-proof doors, like bulletproof windows,
Right?
Maybe something. They were breaking regular windows, like. They're not bulletproof? Like, what's the White House?
That's a good point, right?
What's the White House made out of? Tissue paper?
See, I feel like the White House maybe does have because I saw a video of when there was like the summer riots going on. The White House did have some sort of defense mechanism that shut off the lights, put out like blinding spotlights into the crowd. So I feel like the White House does have some sort of defensive mechanism like that. But the fact that the Capitol building doesn't, I don't get it. Just from like a facilities standpoint, I don't get it.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi's office in there. She's the third most important person.
Someone was in there. Some guy was on there with his feet up on the desk, fucking.
They're playing on her computer.
Yeah,
I'd kill
I mean,
to be on
if there's
that computer.
anything good from this, yes.
Yeah,
maybe some people got in there.
computer.
Some hackers got in there and stole a ton of information.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the Q thing. They keep saying it's going to come out tomorrow, right? Because there's always something tomorrow with QAnon. Tomorrow, tomorrow there'll be something.
This was a big day though for that.
Well, but they were saying earlier today tomorrow though, so they were wrong.
Yeah.
They didn't know that this was going to happen because it's all bullshit in my fucking opinion.
I don't know. But no, there was some good stuff. Just the removal of Trump's Twitter was one.
Yes, that's a new
years
recent
ago.
development. If people are not aware, Twitter has now locked Trump's account for I believe 12 hours. It says I posted that before. The reasoning is because of the video he shared
of telling people to go home.
Yeah, but he also in the video was still kind of gaslighting people. He was still saying, "Oh, the election's fraudulent." You're mad. Dude, he's always giving you something, but then he's making it worse at the same time.
That's something I always had an issue with Trump. That's like those have always been like the minutes where I sit back and I'm like, we elected a reality TV star. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you've elected an idiot. I'm sorry, but he's an idiot. He doesn't.
Like,
he doesn't.
He always puts that on there. I've gotten used to it now to the point like it's how
he doesn't have a good like gauge for the temperature of society. Right now the temperature's red fucking hot. You don't stand there with a gasoline can and pour more on. At least in my opinion.
For the majority, people started going home, I believe.
Yeah, they did, right? Because their dear leader told them to go home. So a lot of people, disarmed. Right. But I feel like it's dangerous to allow yourself to listen or believe in one person that much. I know a lot of you people love Trump and you see him as the messiah, but you shouldn't treat any politician that way. None of them really care about you that much.
I'm still mad at him over the stimulus bill. Like,
right.
They could have pulled any politicians out today and fucking went at them. I wouldn't have cared.
When you behave like that, when you believe stuff like that, this is what happens. How do you think in North Korea Kim Jong-un maintains power? Because people are brainwashed to like fanatically love him and kill for him. No person, you should believe in yourself and your God or whatever, but you shouldn't treat some politician as your fucking God that you like swear allegiance to and will follow to any end. I mean,
I know, but I don't know.
Go ahead, tell me what you think.
I don't think he really fucking set the charge to start.
No,
this
he
riot.
didn't say go in there and break Congress. But I think
the timing was just too suspicious, if you ask me. Trump finished his speech, and then like the vice president released the statement that he's not.
Well, that's not by accident.
Yeah, he did that the second he was done speaking, and like these people snapped. Like they were at the height of their adrenaline, and they're like, "Trump's gonna win, yeah!" And then like Pence just says this, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're getting in there now," and raging hell.
Right.
I think it was time.
If you watch most of the rally today, there was a lot of the guys speaking before Trump saying, fight for Trump and this and that. Did they mean specifically to go and smash in the Capitol building and hang everybody? No. But they're, people are dumb. People are sheep. People are angry. As a person elected to an office of power, you should realize, you should have your finger on the temperature.
Yeah.
I guess, I'm trying to put it as. And to nod is just irresponsible.
Yeah, he should have just called for it to end. Like I said, even his telling people to go home was bungled somewhere. Yeah. And I posted it just to post it because it's the president.
and he says something, it's important
I don't know,
regardless
but
of if
they
he
ask
messes
him.
it up or not. But
I also look at it too. They were like, Trump needs to like stop this. And he's like, all right, go home, everybody. They're like, he didn't do enough. Like they're still gonna blame him no
yeah,
matter what.
that's
Like
true. It
he,
was
he could do exactly what he's asked to do, and like even if he didn't gaslight them, they'd have a problem with it.
Yeah. One thing that was weird is I posted his video and then I posted it to the story and I wrote like sarcastically, Trump says to go home and watch Two Doomed Men at 7 p.m. They removed that.
Really?
Yeah. Instagram removed it because I went
Nice.
later. I went later to like go look at the story again and I saw it was gone and I'm like, did I not post it? I'm like, no, I posted it.
I think I saw that
definitely.
notification. I just didn't look at it.
Yeah. So they removed it and I reposted it saying that they removed it. But that was weird. I guess because it wasn't true. That's exactly, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But I guess that wasn't, Trump didn't say to go watch Two Doomed Men. I don't know why
Yeah.
he wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Why, who wouldn't want to watch
He's
Two Doomed Men?
our biggest fan.
Yeah.
The live
So I
feed
guess
goes
that's
off.
why, that's the road we're heading down in terms of tech censorship.
Oh my God, this is real bad now though. Like to suspend Trump's like for even though it's 12 hours. Like
It was
I'm not
a-
like crazed over it. Don't get me wrong, but like he's president. Like your Twitter. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Like
It was a really weak reasoning as to why they locked his Twitter for the video that he made.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
I agree. There was the video was bungled, but it wasn't. He didn't.
Yeah, he did what you asked him in
Yeah, the
his
video's-
manner. He did something. He did what they asked him,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't do it the way they wanted him to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Hey, the video worked, right?
Yeah.
People after the video came out, I watched this whole shit go down all day.
Yeah.
People started going home after the video came out. That was around like 5 o'clock ish, maybe.
Yeah,
People
and-
started going home around then, so it worked.
so
They were looking for their excuse to, as we've been saying for a while. That
Yeah.
as soon as he's not
I
president
said it.
anymore, he's gone
Yeah.
off social media.
I said it. Mark my words. They are going to try and ban Trump one way or another
And look,
on
I
Twitter.
don't agree with a lot of shit he does, and I think a lot of this shit is stupid and gaslighting people. But it's still he still has the
First
freedom to
Amendment,
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right? I have the freedom to then go and say he's a moron, and I don't like that he does that. And then
If you do that in China, they kill you.
right? Yeah, literally.
I mean,
The ultimate like washing of bad speech is better speech,
Yeah.
has been said many times. So if someone says something stupid, you should be able to see that they say something stupid, and then you could go and say something better. And people should then see both sides. That's freedom of speech.
yeah.
Right?
I just don't see where Twitter comes into this occasion.
Yeah, they're now
into
the-
this equation to have this type of power.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You're a social media company. Like, granted, yes, you're a huge corporation worth millions and billions, but like, you are a media platform.
Mm-hmm.
This is the president of the entire country.
Yeah.
Everyone in this country knows who Trump is. Not everyone, and I'm talking about seniors and stuff. Not everyone in this country knows what Twitter is. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they know what Twitter is, but have never been on it, don't have a Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, which one's more important here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think we need to totally rethink what
social media.
social
yeah.
media is, freedom of speech, the public square, because I don't think Twitter and Facebook, etc., intended these
become
platforms
this?
to
No.
become what they are now, but it is what it is, right? And you have to, so something has to happen to allow people to say whatever they want, but other people could then counter it with saying whatever they want. We
Yeah.
can't just who has anointed Mark Zuckerberg or what's his
Jack
name, Jack
Dorsey.
Dorsey, as the the guardians of what can and
communication.
can't be
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I understand.
There's-
I don't have to use Twitter. That is true, right? And I could use an alternative. Like I've tried using Parler just to
Yeah, it's
put
not bad, yeah.
the podcast up, but Parler sucks, right? Like it doesn't work well. If there's one thing I'll hand it to the social media companies, their apps work well.
Yeah.
They're easy to use. They're
It's a lot to say for that, yeah.
so, like you have the market cornered, but then you say, oh, well, you're free to go use something else, but you have the market cornered.
Yeah.
So we're
It's a
not really
monopoly.
free to go. You
It's
have
a
a not
monopoly,
right,
yeah.
but we're not really free to go use something
Yeah.
else. So, do you still want to talk about what? I mean, I had notes like
Of
that.
what Pence actually was trying to
what
do?
was we were gonna talk about before the Capitol building got stormed, and the certification of what exactly
what's
was going
some of
on.
the big stuff you got?
So what exactly was supposed to be going on today, which is apparently still going to happen later, was the Electoral
Which,
College.
bravo for them to actually do it today.
Yes.
I thought for sure it wasn't taking place today.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, continue. Sorry.
The Electoral College votes were supposed to be certified by the Senate and by Congress. That, to me, means that's the last straw before it's over.
Yes.
Trump has no path to become president whatsoever. So a lot of the senators, the Republican side, were saying they were going to object, and all this big thing that they're going to object, and
Hmm.
because the election was fraudulent, and as you were saying before, that Mike Pence was going to somehow magically overturn the election,
Well,
which
he
he had
doesn't
no authority
overturn
to
it.
do.
You, with the objections, they show evidence as to why they're trying to object these electoral votes, and then Pence does or doesn't. I don't think anybody knows if he does, would or would not have the power to
He
take those
doesn't. I'm telling
electoral
you, he
votes
doesn't.
and send them back, and then they re-vote on
Everything,
them.
everything I've seen of laws and acts or whatever the fuck they're quoting, even Pence himself put out a letter saying, "I don't have the authority to do this." Earlier today, before this
Yeah.
happened,
But
but
there's still a course that they go through of when there is an objection to the electoral vote. That's why they broke to debate or
mm,
whatever. So there's got to be an outcome of that where if they're debating, I don't think it's only going to come back one way. They might debate and come back and be like, yeah, the whole state decides to, object this. Then there has to be something that
yeah,
Trump
there was some
Pence
good,
could do.
yeah, there was some good arguments made during it, but this the Democrats were billing this objection as the overthrow
Tearing,
tyranny and the overthrowing of
yep,
democracy and this and
tearing the
that and whatever.
fabric of
So
society.
I like to point out hypocrisy, right? Regardless if it's the Republicans or Democrats, and because like, there's been a lot of hypocrisy
There's
from the
been nothing but
Democrats
it.
lately. People think I'm a Trump supporter, which I'm not. I just point out hypocrisy, right? So Democrats were very hypocritical about this because I found that in the past few Republican presidential elections, the Democrats they objected during the electoral college certification process, and I have
And
examples.
nobody knows about that.
Yes. In 2000 and 2004, Senator Barbara Boxer, along with Stephanie Tubbs, both Democrats, and Hillary Clinton, we know her, objected to President Bush's 2004 electoral votes in Ohio. So that was not trying to overturn democracy and a
Yep.
coup and this and that, whatever. It was just procedural then because Democrats did it. But now because Republicans are
Yeah.
doing it. So that also is like fear porn, right? They're hyping people up.
Yeah.
People are getting mad,
This is
right?
this is
It's
the
theatrics are pissing
yeah.
people off.
This is so. Somebody I was talking to somebody the other day, and she was like, "Oh, I can't get into politics. Like, it's just too boring." I was like, "You're right. It is boring, but the one thing Trump does is he makes politics fun.
Not
This,
that's one way to put it.
you know what I mean? Like I took a government class in high school and all that stuff. Like I've learned more about government during the Trump administration than I have all the 32 years I've been on this planet. Like
Hmm.
nobody, never in the history of any election have people tuned in to watch Congress certify the electoral college votes.
That's a good point.
Most people just thought November 3rd,
And
so
that's
and
it.
so is elected. See you January 20th.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess if you could take a silver lining from the just madness, chaos, stupidity, people paid more attention, right?
Yeah.
You paid more attention because of this,
Yeah.
you know. I was my next note is actually pretty funny.
well,
This I wrote these notes before the war broke out on Capitol Hill.
Civil War. Yeah.
So I wrote my next note was about Trump's protests, and I wrote that the media is billing it as violent and dangerous, which it may very well turn out to be. I was actually right. And I was saying at the time, I was saying the same media was billing the George Floyd protests to be mostly peaceful, as they had videos of journalists saying it's mostly peaceful, and the background, buildings were on fire.
Yeah.
So that was hypocritical,
This is-
but it
This
ended
is
up.
going to be billed as a war zone. I already listened to a little bit of it, and it's just these violent criminals. There was literally people running through a burning Target, stealing shit, smashing open cash registers. It's mostly peaceful, and we break into a building that we technically own, and nothing's on fire. Nobody's livelihoods got destroyed. Nobody's business that they sunk every dime into got burnt down. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we broke into. I'll tell you straight up, like if everybody who protested during George Floyd with BLM and all that, they had the right to protest. What took place was horrible. We've always agreed on that. And that, these cops have crossed the line and that there does need to be some way to ring them back in. But then they burn down people's livelihoods.
Well,
their
one thing don't
businesses.
justify the other.
Right. But like I kind of feel like if there's a place to riot to get your point across, like it's out on the steps of the Capitol building. You know what I mean? Like
But
go to the source. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Go to
we
the
have said
source of
that.
the problem. Like, okay, look, I'm condoning rioting, but like, go to nobody's business deserves to suffer. If windows were to be broken, it should be the windows of the Capitol building because these are the people who can make the changes, and they're not fucking listening.
Yeah, you see that I agree with, right?
You know
And
what I mean?
then
Like,
and then going back to my other criticism, the Capitol building should have some sort of like inflatable
do you see
pillow
how?
that just springs up around it, and you could take out your anger on the Capitol building without damaging it.
But did you see how easy that window
Yeah,
broke?
I'm literally looking at. I mean, this is a retarded fucking view right here.
Yeah.
There was cops on the outside of the door as like a million people
Yeah.
trying to barge in, and 2 cops are going to hold everybody back.
yeah.
I mean, I can understand how they got in.
You know,
Sheer force
This
of
also,
thousands of people are
this
going to be able
also
to break in
brings
over time.
You know, defund the police. No, you want to riot in the Capitol? Go ahead. You know what I mean? Would you really give it your all? Like,
What do you mean, like as a cop?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't because I
No,
literally
obviously,
saw them
like, yeah.
opening the gates and letting people in at some point. So, you know. But I mean,
this has been a crazy day.
these were Capitol Police, though.
Yeah.
Where they weren't. Later on, they were Washington D.C. police that came to help.
Yeah.
This was Capitol Police. This wasn't Washington D.C. police. So it was
It's crazy.
like a dereliction of duty. Is it the
Yeah.
individual police officer's fault? I don't know. Not necessarily. It's whoever's in charge of planning defense and security and
there's somebody
whatever.
who was running-
Someone's getting fired for this
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
without a doubt. Someone's getting
Oh,
fired
yeah.
for this shit. What do you want to talk about next?
It's gonna be an interesting next few days. Because the
Oh,
media,
Jesus,
this
you're
is
fucking queuing up.
Do you know?
It's always the next few
even,
days.
I wasn't even bringing up Q. I was talking about the media. They are
Okay.
rock solid. Right
I didn't
now.
want to interrupt you before, but I did hear you were saying the mostly peaceful
Yeah.
thing. I was listening. I really only watched Fox today, but Fox was saying, "Well, it was mostly peaceful. It was mostly peaceful. It was mostly peaceful. It was most." I swear to God, I heard them repeat that.
When I sat down in here, they were like, "These people are criminals. They should all be
Okay,
going to
but
jail."
I'm telling you, depending on who they had on and who
Right.
the anchor was, a lot of them were saying it was mostly peaceful. And I heard somebody say it. I forgot
would like to
exactly
know.
who. O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful on the night that he killed his wife. You
it
know?
was only bad for about
Right,
an
for
hour.
1 second. So mostly peaceful, not mostly. You commit this. This was not mostly peaceful.
No.
This was thousands of people trying to break into
wonder-
a building. When they were in there, I don't know exactly what happened. Some people got shot, but it was not mostly
I
peaceful.
wonder, like, how many people showed up to the protest. You know what I mean? Like, let's say like 500,000 people showed up to the protest, right? What if like only like out of that 500,000, in reality, like 300 people did this to the Capitol? You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's probably-
I
well-
would like to. I wonder what the percentage is of like people on Capitol property compared to
Mm-hmm.
the hundreds of thousands of other people who didn't lift another finger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it was 300 because I posted a picture.
I
of
have no idea.
thousands of people surrounding the exterior.
Oh no,
wall
I
of the
understand that.
Capitol
I'm
building.
just. I only just took numbers out of the air. Too.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I wonder what like how many people went in and how many people like stayed
Honestly-
out. If like 100, like if there was 300,000 people there
Yeah.
and 200,000 people
I
stormed
know
the
what you mean.
Capitol, that's a problem. That's not mostly
I'm going to say
peaceful.
probably was pretty close because I don't know exactly how many people were at the Trump rally, but it looked like most of them just walked over and did
Well,
this.
the
Not
plan-
every single
the
person
plan
broke in and
for-
broke something,
yeah.
but most of them
The plan
walked
for the
over.
protest was to start at where Trump had the rally, and then everybody was going to walk down to Congress and I guess protest outside. But then they went right to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
war.
Let's say let's take a guess. Say 50% of everybody who was there did that, and then the next 30% actually made it up to the walls,
Yeah.
and maybe 10% got in. Not even 10%. Maybe like 2% got actually inside, and were the videos of people walking around and how did they even get into the Senate chamber? There was a video.
The door they were let in, man. I'm
How
almost
did they get
having-
in? There was
yeah.
there was a picture I posted of the door
Oh,
blockaded with guys with guns.
multiple rooms. There's so many rooms in the
So
Capitol, yeah.
they maybe
One-
different entrance.
They were probably different courtrooms. When they dispersed, they probably went to different chambers.
Maybe. If anybody's wondering now, the situation's under control. Everybody's been removed. National Guard and everybody's in charge again. And they're apparently, like we said, they're going to meet to finish making Biden the president, I guess.
I'm glad they're meeting, but I will say though, like all those we saw outside, all those cops out there and all that, and all the police and National Guard, that is warranted. That's 100% warranted. Like,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, you can't storm the Capitol building without repercussions.
No, no.
It's, I mean, what a crazy day, man. What,
This has been
yeah.
This has been a very wild, interesting day, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen over the next few days. I mean, like you said before, Q shit happened. Like I was just saying, the media is going to go bonkers. 12
I gotta go
hours.
bonkers. The media, man. I tell you, they were rock hard
I'm
all day
telling
today.
they're going.
Rock
They're going
fucking
to.
hard. They
This
love
is going to
this.
be. This is the next. This is the
Yeah.
news cycle. This is all. I could promise you, cases of COVID are going to go.
Oh
down.
yeah, COVID don't exist
Yeah.
for the next 2 days.
Yep.
This is going to be all just this, but then it'll be back once this.
Oh yeah,
this,
once everybody's tired of listening to this.
I'm not saying COVID don't exist. I'm just saying that this is what the media is going to
Yep.
make us be fucking terrified over
Yeah.
for the next few days.
Yep.
Psychopath, sycophant, Trump, vampire, lunatics.
How much you
roaming
want
the
to bet
streets.
now? How much you want to bet now? If any other protests come, they're going to be like, "You're not allowed to Like they're going to try and take away our right to protest.
I was thinking, yeah, maybe. You know, when I was putting my, you know,
If
I try to look at everything from every angle, right? So when I was putting on a tinfoil hat before, I was like, this could be used as justification to enact like martial law.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's a
Insurrection
mixture of
Act.
COVID restrictions and civil unrest, and the Capitol building's under attack.
Close all the bars.
Right. Yeah.
just the bars.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I brought this up earlier. So something that interested me this week, it's not conspiracy. This is actual things that were happening. So first off, what's the leader of the Proud Boys? What that Spanish guy?
I was just looking into him yesterday.
Well, whatever. So
Spanish guy.
Yeah,
Leader
so-
of Proud Boys. Isn't that funny?
yep, the white supremacy group ran by a Spanish guy.
Dark skinned too. And, you know, since everything's about, you know, skin color.
So a lot of weird things have been happening in the DC area in the past few days. So the leader of the Proud Boy landed, and the second he walked off the plane, they arrested him for burning a BLM banner, and he's looking at jail time. Right? Then I was fine.
But okay, but did he break a law? You know where did he burn his flag? In the fucking airport?
Yeah,
in a public
no.
park where you can't burn flags? You know, like
Yeah, that I don't know. So I
can't just go
only-
burn shit out in public.
Yeah,
without
I
getting in
don't
trouble for
follow the Proud Boys. I just know the name really.
Yeah.
Then in Washington D.C., hotels were canceling reservations. The restaurants were told to stay closed. So they were trying to limit like how like protesters could get food, go to the bathroom, screw up their hotel reservations.
It's like a
there were
tactic.
checkpoints. Yeah, it was a strategic tactic to try and break up the large number of people that wanted to show up.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah. Those are tactics I guess cities employ to try and prevent mass gatherings.
That's bullshit.
You know, I'm sure they did it. I don't know for certain. I don't have any proof here because I know we're going to talk about this, but I'm sure they did it for the BLM stuff too in the summertime, certain places. Although maybe not because they were, you know, there was
Those were more. This was planned. Those were more.
spontaneous. Plus, the politicians kind of condoned that shit to happen. So I don't know. I
mean, what took place in Seattle or Portland, wherever
both. I think
Yeah.
it's both.
I mean,
Portland more so.
to allow that to happen, that's insane.
Yeah. Well, that mayor has now rescinded his
Yeah,
ways.
shocking. Sorry, everybody.
I wanted to talk about this
What's that?
too. The fuck your feelings crowd, right? Because we knew we were going back and forth about this. Was again, all my notes here were from before this scrambled my brain today. And there's been the guys that are, or the guys or the girls, the Trump supporters that are like, Trump 2020, fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings, whatever. And like, I understand that concept, right? And I understand the concept that a lot of Trump supporters feel that the like election was stolen from them. But you're the same guys who were saying 4 years ago, fuck your feelings, when Hillary Clinton and the Democrat people thought that the election was stolen from them.
It's what comes around goes around. I mean,
Yeah, and my point...
but on the Trump side, the fuck your feelings thing more is kind of more towards like the snowflakes who were like, you know, the people who don't like Trump just based on the way he, like, it doesn't matter like what bill he's passing because, you know, he might say it in a certain, like, he's too sharp in their ears almost. Like, oh, it's so offensive. It's so like that he breaks people's feelings and they're like, fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the pussification. We always talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like saying fuck you to that.
I get that.
Yeah. But you are right. I could see it from that point of view.
It's hypocritical.
It is. And
You
yeah,
can't,
what
you
comes
can't,
around goes, yeah.
right, you can't say fuck your feelings when you won, but then when you lose,
Oh,
we got robbed. And I might agree with you. Maybe there was some shit going on, but I'm not going around crying about it, or neither are you, you know, for the most part.
I can't wait to use "Not My President" though. Can't wait. can't
I
wait.
just feel like
To be honest with you though, like, sorry to interrupt you, but to go on with like, yeah, like the people crying and stuff like this, a ton of shit happened today that got me back into it because I was just after the stimulus bill, I was I was furious. Like I'm still annoyed at Trump over the stimulus bill. Like I still believe it's a complete robbery and total bullshit. And like I wanted to see something wild today, or I would have been like further out of like disconnected from it. And I got my fill today, big time. But like still, like January 19th, like you're not telling me tomorrow, you know what I mean? Like January on the noon of January 20th when Biden's in, like Biden won. Like I don't want to hear no more
yeah.
of like, oh well, this could happen. It's like I
It
said to
doesn't
you
mean we
yesterday.
wanted him to
Yeah,
win either.
yeah. It
I
was
didn't
like
want either of them.
no, like we were joking about the other day. Back in 2016 when Bernie lost the primaries, there was always some new way. Like this is how Bernie could still become president. This is how Bernie could still
Yeah,
become the
I didn't buy
nominee.
that shit.
Yeah, like once we're a few days out from this inauguration,
It's
like
over.
I
You
don't
have
want
to
to
just
hear this
accept.
shit anymore.
You have to
Like,
accept reality, and you lost. Even
Yeah.
if it was you got fucked, you lost.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
and I hate.
At a
that
certain
sucks, but
time, like how long are we going to draw this one out? You know what I mean?
yeah. And then just on like a grander scheme of things, do we know for certain exactly if the election was 100% irreversibly stolen or there was fraud to the extent that it was, it could be overturned?
There's 200,000
I don't know.
more
Maybe there
people.
was, right? Maybe there was, but maybe there wasn't. I'm trying to think of it on the grand scheme of things, right? When in 2016, when Trump won and Hillary lost, the Democrats said, "Oh, the Russia meddled in the election and it was fraudulent and Trump wasn't supposed to win." Okay, now in 2020, Trump is saying the election was fraudulent. The Democrats stole from him. Okay, so now in 2024, is
Yeah.
now whoever
It's a
loses is going to
dangerous
say,
game. Yeah.
"Oh,
It's
that's
fraudulent."
it. China meddled in the election, and it's fraudulent and didn't win it." And then in 2028, the same thing, and so on and so, and we'll never.
Eventually
This
they're
is
gonna
now
have-
like. This is the political tactic to just say the other side cheated, rile up your base, and trying to get them to come out and vote for you.
Yeah.
Like that. It's just
It's
we're
a
going
dangerous path.
Yeah.
Everything, but you got to think now. Like there's just so much on danger. Like Twitter playing with the power of the First Amendment, everything being contested from 2016 on. Like this has definitely opened up our eyes to a lot of shit. First off, but like everything is just getting at like we're reaching as society we're reaching a pinnacle and like
It's
things are
it's
going to be different.
divisiveness. It's divisiveness, and the more you buy into the divisiveness, the more divisive everyone's going to get, and divided everyone's going to get. I said this before, and boy,
It's always
I
been
hate.
the plan, the people's history.
I'm going to talk about Mitch McConnell, and this is I hate to say this, right? But before the whole craziness happened, Mitch McConnell was talking, and he gave one of the best takes I heard today, and it pains me to say that because I can't stand the guy. But he said similar to what I just said. He goes, if we just keep spiraling down this path of fraud and election and challenge the other side, where does it lead? It's just more and more dividedness. We don't get anything done, etc. He's saying that through his teeth, maybe. I don't know how much I believe him, but the words he was saying was still correct. I mean, I texted it to you guys. Maybe you can look it up because I kind of wrote it word for word.
But and I don't disagree. Like it's definitely getting out of control. But there also has to be a certain point where if someone thinks there is fraud, like what's the level we push it? Like it's the election, you know what I mean? So like I always question Joe Biden like listen, you think you won, maybe you did win, maybe truthfully if you really did win, if Joe Biden knows he is the victor and he knows there was no fraud, he's still in his fucking basement. You are now the president-elect. Get out there. Just start working minusculely from your fake fucking office of the president-elect, all right? And prove to the people that it wasn't a fraudulent election. You know what I mean? Like, he's not doing anything to make the case that it's not a fraudulent election.
But I'd say the same thing that Trump is also not doing anything to prove that it is a fraudulent election because I keep hearing from him, "Oh, it was fraudulent.
Right.
It was fraudulent."
Right.
Okay, can I see the concrete
That's
evidence that proves that it was 100% so fraudulent that you lost? So,
Okay, and he's not getting anywhere with it, but like by Joe Biden not saying anything, there's only one voice you're hearing that it is fraudulent. It is fraudulent. Let's see Joe Biden's point of view on why it's not.
Okay,
fraudulent.
but in America, like the burden of proof lies on the accuser, not on the accused.
True.
You know what I mean? It's not Joe. I mean, he should, as I guess the president, but it's not his responsibility to prove how he didn't cheat. It's the guy making the accusation. If I didn't cheat, right, and some wild fucking guy was accusing me of cheating, right, and I didn't cheat,
how
but
much you're gonna dive into it to fight him?
You know what I mean? And
You're right,
every
but
day
like,
I answer him and go back at him. I'm gonna be twisted in this fucking thing all day, and I don't want to defend Joe Biden, right? But I've defended Trump, so whatever. It's just, if you're going to accuse somebody of one of the grandest conspiracies ever in the history of the country, you have to actually show. I don't care about, there was the talk of, well, we can't show you the evidence yet because it's still in the court.
Yeah.
Well, it's not in the court anymore. So that evidence that you claim to have had that you couldn't show me before, why don't you show me it now? Because the court shit is over, right?
Yeah.
Where was the Kraken? Where was all that shit? I haven't seen it. I'm still looking. I'm still open to believing that this whole thing was a scam, but I don't have the evidence, so I can't fucking just blindfoldly. I can't march into the Capitol building and burn the place down because you haven't given me a real reason to do so.
Yeah, I would just like to. I mean, fight. Listen, if he is the president-elect, like, and everybody hates Trump, it's a perfect PR opportunity for Biden to be out there and be taking on Trump before he's even in office. Like, you want to be the savior of the people. No savior of the people sits in their basement for this long. I'm sorry. Like,
he's not like going to be a strong man leader, lead by, you know.
No, he's not.
He's like a lead from behind.
He's gonna
sort of low energy.
He's just gonna sit behind that Oval Office and drool on himself.
What we have to do is now, you know, this is going to come to a close soon. We have to start holding Biden and these two new Democrats and that whole situation. We have to hold them accountable, right? I shared something before, this crazy shit that Bernie posted.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, you know, now that we have control of the Senate, we have to get to passing the 2000, et cetera, that we promised we would do. God bless you, Bernie, because, you know, I want the one guy, I have my criticisms of him, but I feel like he does continue to try and do things that we actually want, right, for the most part, though you could disagree with him or not. But let's see. Are they going to actually now, because they, you know, the Georgia runoff thing, the Democrats won, and they promised that if they won, we would now go and pass a $2,000 bill. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
They have it in their, the ball's in their court.
Yeah.
They have their president come in. They have everything they need to do it, right? They voted for Pelosi to now become the Speaker of the House again, right?
She had a COVID positive person come in to vote for her.
They got everything they wanted. Let's see. Yeah. Are they going to do it or not?
Just like they told BLM, we'll get back to you after the election, and then
let's see when that's going to happen too. Let's see.
It still hasn't happened.
Biden's not president. I'll give him a little bit to actually be president. But another thing, I don't know if me and you have talked about this much, but have you heard of force to vote?
No, it sounds familiar, but
force to vote was this campaign that this progressive guy Jimmy Dore started, and Jimmy Dore's idea was, in order to get Medicare for all, we have to force them to vote on it, because the Democrat, if you're someone who supports Medicare for all, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, are always like, no, it's not the right time right now. Yeah. Later on we'll do it. It's not the right time right now. Later on, it's always not the right time.
Yeah, but when they have a defense bill and they need to raise the budget,
then it's the right time. Yeah. But the idea is, it's always not the right time. If we're gonna do and you can have your criticisms of Medicare for all. I'm trying to think of hypothetically if we passed.
When is the right time?
I'm trying to think of hypothetically. Say we passed the perfect healthcare bill for America that worked for everybody, and there was no bullshit, and etc. Right? It's probably not going to happen, but I'm just trying to be hopeful.
I know where you're going.
So, when is that going to happen? We're in the middle of a pandemic, right? Where someone like me, I lost my health insurance, right? Yeah. So now is the time to pass healthcare or Medicare for all. Yeah. How is it not the right time? So Jimmy Dore and Force the Vote's idea was, you know what, AOC and Bernie and etc., all like the squad, should just say, you know what, Nancy, we're not going to vote for you as Speaker of the House until you bring a floor vote for Medicare for all. Why? Because when are we going to vote for Medicare for all?
You understand something? They voted on giving themselves raises. That was right. You shouldn't be, if Medicare is actually as big and important as they say it is to them, you can't vote on your next raise until you vote on something like this first. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The idea was, we're going to hold you, Nancy Pelosi, hostage, your position, until you do something that we, the people, want to do. You can disagree with Medicare for all. That's fine. But I love the premise of, no, we want you to do something that we want to do. And we're not going to allow you to get your job back if you don't do it.
Yeah, that needs to happen more.
The thing is, it didn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
AOC and everybody in the
They
squad,
fell short, yeah.
they voted for Nancy Pelosi. Why? Because she probably made a deal with them. I'll put you on. They put AOC on some
New
committee.
yeah.
And AOC thinks that she'll still have her way to get it done. We can't just play politically. You can't just play nice with everybody who are the worst.
The Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's politics, kid.
I like Jimmy Dore. Check it out. Forced to vote. Jimmy Dore had a great idea. Force these fucking cocksuckers to do what you want, right? By withholding the vote. And now Jimmy Dore, God bless him, he's on Twitter smashing AOC.
That's great.
Etc. Like, you sold out, you did this. And that's what we should do, right? Yeah. AOC was all upset. Oh, okay. That was very hypocritical of AOC, right? How much shit does AOC talk about people and make the lists of the Trump supporters? Well, no, now someone's talking mean to you and you want to cry. Oh, it's not nice. Don't force me to do something. We put you in office to fucking work, not to make deals under the table.
We gave you this job. Now you have to work for us.
So that's
There's no accountability, man. No accountability.
No.
That's why it excited me to see people storm the Capitol, because, there was politicians in there who had an oh shit moment. We've pushed it too far. They're going to rip us apart now.
If there's a silver lining we'll take, maybe it's that, these lunatics scared some of these politicians.
Yeah.
Maybe now they'll have a come to Jesus moment. Ain't happening. But maybe they'll now start working in the people's best interest.
Not that we should get into the Wild West, and not that this was the right thing to do, but we, the people, at some point, at some time, need to be heard that we don't like what you're doing. You know what I mean? The force to vote idea is a great idea, but if there's that many people who are behind that idea, or the stimulus bill is such bullshit with all that money of our money that went over there. When they signed that bill, this is what we should have been doing. We should have been tearing apart the Capitol.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
there
I agree.
needs to be a way where we get heard. You know what I mean? Enough is enough.
Yes. Our the people's anger is always misdirected slightly.
Yeah.
You're right. People should have been outside the Capitol building when Mitch McConnell was withholding the vote or whatever the fuck on the thing. They should have been demanding, no, you're spending all this money.
Yeah.
And we could disagree on should we have even spent any of that money? But they were going to spend it anyway, right? So I'd rather have gotten all of it as opposed to Pakistani gender programs or whatever. So,
they should have been scaling the fucking walls on that day.
Right. That's America. America is always just never concerned over economic issues and issues of class. We're always being distracted by microaggressions and Black Lives Matter and who's mean to this person and that. And I'm not saying there's not racism. There is. But these powers that be want us to be distracted by those things. Right.
That's why my view on politics is a little different. Over the past year, yes, I've grown more towards Trump because I'm tired of seeing this shit, and I feel like he's the only one that fights back. But when you give me social issues and these little issues, for the fact that gay people were only allowed to be married legally several years ago is beyond my
it's ridiculous. That's how long it took for
they pay taxes. They pay
right.
You are an American citizen, you pay taxes. I don't care who you fuck. I'm perfectly do you if you could pay taxes, these laws should never exist. But you know what I mean? And shit like that is when I don't care. Fine, yes, of course they should be. I don't understand why you would say no to that. But to send millions of dollars of taxpayer money overseas saying it's COVID relief for the American people, this was a relief bill for us, specifically for us.
It relieved everybody but us, basically.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when I get crazed. That's when it really fucking riles me up, where I want to be at the Capitol building ripping politicians out of their office.
Yeah, I hear you. Believe me.
But you're right. It's so misdirected.
It's misdirected, and a lot of this shit is just distraction. We talked about it many times, right? I've read this book. It's called The People's History of the United States, and it's been a tactic the government and the elite, the powerful in this country have fucking employed from the beginning of the country. Keep people divided. Keep poor white people, poor black people, poor Native Americans in the beginning, right? Why? Because if we incite violence amongst those three groups, if we incite racism amongst poor white people and poor black people and poor Native Americans, the poor white guys will act as a buffer between us and the Native Americans and the slaves,
Because
right?
if all three of them were to join together,
Right, and
they can
fight
make a
for like a
difference.
common, country that worked equally for everybody. These people who like cling on to their pearls would be fucked. But they play into the stupidity of the masses and people and
They
that
buy it, hook,
tactic,
line, and sinker every time.
and the tactic is still being employed to this day, and it's just gotten more sophisticated. So it annoys me when people it annoys me when this situation happens today, and right away people go, "Oh, well, if it was BLM, this would have been a different response." You're just playing into that mentality instead of looking deeper into it. That's what pisses me off about it. Like, there's way more going on than just racism here. There's classism.
Yeah.
They're trying to pit class
It's
against
two
class,
different-
and if you play into that, you're part of the fucking problem.
These two different riots happened for two completely different reasons. You know what I mean? Like one
Yeah,
riot,
they did, literally.
And
it doesn't mean
neither
there's
of
not-
them are downplayed by any means. But like the BLM protests started because of George Floyd, rightfully so. These protests started because we feel like an election is being stolen from us. They're not in. Not that one is more important than the other. They're not in the same ballpark. They're not the same situation. You know what I mean? Like people were pushed to completely different limits.
And again, this was the
Had
first.
nothing to do with race.
And again, if you're one of those people that are going to say that they would have treated Black Lives Matter protest or whatnot in Washington differently, yeah, they would have, probably because they would be expecting it to get violent because they have gotten violent in the past. There's a precedent set. Like these things sometimes turn violent. As we
didn't
said
see this
before,
coming.
this is the first time I saw it coming. I wrote it right here, right? But that's me. They didn't see this coming, I guess, right? They should have, but they didn't. Now I guarantee you,
Security wise, I'm surprised they didn't see this coming. But
Listen.
me personally, a regular Joe Schmo, I didn't really. I thought maybe something was going to happen, but did I think we were going to storm the Capitol? No.
if another Trump protest like this pops up somewhere, I'm going to assume that there's going to be a huge security presence next time. If there's not, then I'll come back and talk to you about the BLM being treated differently, because then I'll be on your side and be like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
How the fuck are they not prepared again? Now it seems suspicious. Like they're treating the Black Lives Matter protests unfairly compared to a Trump protest.
Man, you might have just the CIA right now is like, write that down, write it.
Yeah,
don't send security to the next protest.
No, they'll make sure they send it so that they don't want to appear to be taking one side or the other if they are.
Oh man, what a great day!
Yeah,
what a crazy day.
That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that.
So we're still good, or
I don't know. Did anybody say anything that we want to respond to?
Thank you all for watching, guys.
Yeah.
What do we got? We got Zoo
I saw
on
the thing moving, but it was too far away for me to read.
Why can't I see how many people? Oh, I know why. Hold on.
Captain Technology.
Yep.
One interesting thing that happened today was we were going to actually do this at Chris's house, and he has no internet. So maybe the
government fucking got me.
He's been saying, we've been saying, and he's been seeing the QAnon people saying, oh, the internet's going to go out and whatever. Only his internet went out. Yeah. So maybe QAnon was targeting you, or
if this show does, if we can't air this, I'd be surprised.
Well, I'm recording it, so we are going to post
B-Man.
this whole thing up as we would normally do.
We got the doc on here.
Oh yeah, I assume.
See, let me see who's coming up.
That's right. Anybody ask any questions or say anything that we should respond to? I don't know. Scroll up the feed here. Let's see. Go Giants. I agree. Try paying your bill. All right. Thanks for not participating, everybody.
Well,
thanks for joining.
Before we go, anybody got questions?
There's a little delay. There's like a 30-second delay, I'd say, from when we say something to when it actually
I got you.
shows up on the Instagram feed.
All right, I guess none of you guys got anything to say.
Yeah. So, as of what's going on right now, it looks like the Congress is going to reconvene and finish what they were starting today. Across the board, too.
This is anti-American anarchy.
I can't really disagree with them. A lot of them are just putting out statements because they want to seem like they're on the right side of history.
Oh, wait, are they back in Congress
they are.
right now?
Yeah, they are.
Look at that.
They are back in Congress and the Senate sorting things out. If you really want to fucking fix this and you really want to stick it to these assholes in Congress,
vote them out.
Vote all these fucking cocksuckers out. Every motherfucker in there. Every single one. Start from scratch. I want even if I like them, start over. I want totally new people next time.
Term limits need to become
a thing. That's never going to happen unless we get new people in there, right? And those new people have to go in there and be like, one of the first things all of us are going to do is fix this.
Yeah.
So Keep that in mind. Don't fucking forget, because I don't want to hear people cry about it or think, the problems with their life in years when you forgot about what was going on, and you didn't care in 2022, right? That the next thing is.
You want to know what's something funny? At the beginning of 2020, Trump killed that terrorist who they found information that he was planning to attack and hurt Americans. So we killed him. And right away, there was going to be World War III, World War III, World War III. Nobody even remembers about that attack anymore.
Yeah, right. It was being billed as World War III at the time.
Yeah. So we were literally on the brink of World War III if you listen to the media. Now I could promise you, by like May, we're going to sit back and be like, yo, remember when they stormed the Capitol?
Yeah.
Like, people are going to forget this.
The media hypes people up, and in the moment you're emotional, you get hyped up or whatever, but then, they find something else to hype you up about. And they've done a fantastic job, not discounting anything with COVID for the people who are going to criticize me about it. They've done a fantastic job of using COVID continually to keep us in fear.
No, Zoo, we didn't see this, but did you guys already cover how Schumer just compared today to Pearl Harbor when he had the floor? This is going to be unbearable.
Vote them out. Vote them out.
For the next few days, this is the quotes.
Theatrics. It's just theatrics.
This is, like I said, they're going to bill this worse than like any bombing that has taken place and shit.
You before said you hope that today change things or put a little tickle on these guys' pickle. It didn't.
No.
Because if it did, Schumer would not go up there and say it. He'd go, listen, if it actually changed anything, Schumer would go, listen, what happened today sucked, right? But I understand people are pissed off or whatever. Let's go forward and do the right thing. And we'll try and understand. We'll try and understand what you Trump supporters are want and try and make things better for everybody. But no, today was Pearl Harbor. And you're just fucking gaslighting people and feeding the flames.
What he did is no better than when Trump said, go home. They rigged the election, but go home. Like, you know what I mean? You're just pissing more people off. You're just hyping more people up.
And that's it.
It's what they're paid to do at this point.
I don't know how we break the wheel here of just never-ending stupidity.
Storm the Capitol and burn it down.
That don't work either. That just makes it even worse. Vote them out, man.
Yeah.
Vote them out. Anything else?
No, you said this country's more doomed than we are. That's why we're the doomed men, and that's why you're doomed nation.
Yep. All right.
I'm done.
How long are we in here?
We've
probably less than an hour because I think Instagram cuts you off after an hour. So
no, we might be under because it never cut me up.
All right,
guys.
Off, bud.
Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe as always. You guys are watching us on Instagram Live right now, so obviously it's at @2DoomMen_podcast. You can check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and we'll probably be dropping. Are we going to actually have a recording of this to drop?
Yeah, I did record this while we were doing it,
okay,
so I will
perfect.
post this as one of our normal episodes that will come out. I'll try and post it as soon as possible because.
And make sure you check out last week's episode where the Giants won and then Philadelphia fucked us.
Yes, fuck Doug Peterson.
Yes,
scumbag,
piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right, Doom Nation, adios.